Pain has a way of knocking on the door of your life uninvited. It doesn't text first, doesn't call ahead, doesn't ask if now's a good time. It just shows up through betrayal, through loss, through rejection, through words that cut deeper than a blade ever could. And when it arrives, it whispers the lie that this is where your story ends, that what happened is now who you are. But listen to me, pain is a teacher, not a prison. It is not a life sentence, it is a classroom. It's not here to chain you, it's here to change you. We often ask, why is this happening to me? But the real question is, what is this pain trying to teach me? Because hidden in every ache is an answer, and wrapped in every wound is wisdom. Pain doesn't come to destroy you, it comes to develop you. You may not have chosen the pain, but you do get to choose what it produces in you. You can either stay stuck in it and let it harden your heart, or you can walk through it and let it whispering expand your capacity to love, to discern, to trust God more deeply than ever before. The danger is that many people get locked inside the moment that hurt them. They set up camp inside the betrayal. They build a house out of heartbreak. And now they walk through life still carrying the chains of something that was only supposed to teach them, not trap them. That's not God's will for your life. You were never meant to be defined by whispering the pain you experienced. You were meant to be refined by it. That's the difference between people who grow through pain and people who get stuck in it. The ones who grow see it as a teacher. Think about the best lessons you've learned. They probably didn't come wrapped in comfort. They came through discomfort, through fire, through storms. You learned who really stood with you. You discovered what you could survive. You realized that your vision and redirect your steps. What you thought was a setback was actually a setup for a deeper revelation. You learned patience. You learned boundaries. You learned what love is and what it isn't. You learned that your worth isn't tied to someone staying, and your peace isn't dependent on an apology that may never come. And most of all, you learned that God was with you the entire time, not just on the mountaintop, but in the valley. Not just whispering. That's something to thank God for, because it's in those raw, unfiltered moments that transformation happens. When you stop pretending you're okay and start learning from what hurt you, that's when freedom begins. That's when growth starts. That's when the prison doors open, not because the pain disappeared, but because you finally understood it. Didn't have to hold you hostage. God never wastes pain. He uses it to realign your priorities, refocus in the healing, but in the hurting. You don't need to fear the pain anymore. It has no power over you when you understand it's part of your process, not your punishment, that it's shaping you, not shaming you. And even though it hurt, it's not your home. You're not meant to live there. You're meant to walk through it and come out stronger on the other side. And once you do, you'll look back not with bitterness, but with understanding. You'll say, that season didn't kill me, it called me higher. So don't curse the pain. Learn from it. Let it teach you what comfort couldn't. Let it reveal what silence couldn't say. Let it show you the strength you didn't know was in you. Because every scar you carry now tells a story, and that story will become someone else's survival guide. You'll become the proof that you can go through hell and still come out holy. That you can be wounded and still be whispering, wise, that you can be broken and still be a blessing. This pain you're feeling, it's not your ending, it's your education, it's your awakening. It's not the end of your story, it's the middle chapter where the character develops. And the one writing your story isn't finished yet. He's not leaving you in the pit, he's pulling you through. And when he's done, you won't just be healed, you'll be whole, stronger, wiser. It's about the other person. We think it means saying what you did was okay. We think it lets them off the hook. But here's the truth that will set you free. Forgiveness is not about releasing them. It's about releasing you. It's not about excusing what they did. It's about choosing not to carry it anymore. Forgiveness doesn't make them right. It makes you free. So many of us are living behind invisible bars, not bars built of steel, but of resentment, whispering, life. Let me say something strong. They don't have to say sorry for you to forgive. That's a hard truth, but it's a healing one. If you're waiting for them to apologize before you set it down, you're handing them the keys to your peace. And some of them don't even think they did anything wrong. Some of them aren't coming back. Some of them can't undo what's already been done. So you have a choice to make. Do you stay chained to the memory, or whispering of silent bitterness, of inner rage we never gave ourselves permission to process? They said something, they did something, they walked out, they betrayed you, and you locked it all away in the deepest part of your heart and told yourself, I'll never let that go. But in doing that, you weren't locking them out, you were locking yourself in. You were putting yourself in the prison. You were carrying the weight of what they did long after they left your whispering. Life. Do you choose to forgive, not for their sake, but for yours? You can't heal while holding on to hate. You can't move forward while dragging old chains. Bitterness feels strong at first. It feels like armor. It feels like power. But all it really does is drain your strength from the inside out. It turns your heart into a battlefield. It distracts you from your calling. It poisons new relationships. It makes you skeptical of joy, and eventually it steals not only your peace, but your identity. You're no longer living from your healed self. You're living from your hurt self. And that's not who you were meant to be. Forgiveness isn't a feeling. If you wait to feel it, you'll wait forever. Forgiveness is a decision. It's a daily declaration. I release them from my judgment. I refuse to let what they did hold me hostage. I will not spend another year rehearsing that scene over and over in my mind. You're not saying it didn't hurt. You're not saying it didn't matter. You're saying my peace matters more, my destiny matters more, my freedom matters more, and here's the part most people miss. Forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation. Forgiveness doesn't mean you have to go back. Sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do is forgive from a distance. Sometimes the wisest thing you can do is love people from afar and protect your space. Forgiveness isn't about rebuilding trust with them, it's about rebuilding trust with yourself. It's about refusing to carry someone else's offense any longer. You've carried it long enough, it's time to let it go. Because when you don't forgive, you let them live rent-free in your soul. You wake up thinking about them, you lose sleep over what happened, and every time someone says something that sounds like what they said, you flinch. That's not living, that's surviving, that's trauma taking the lead in your story. But when you forgive, you take back your narrative, you tell your pain, you don't get the microphone anymore, you tell your soul you deserve peace. You step into the life you were meant to live, not defined by what they did, but by who you are. And you are not what they did to you, you are not what they said about you, you are not the hurt they left behind. You are loved, you are chosen, you are powerful, and you are free the moment you choose to be. Not when they come back, not when they make it right. But when you stand in your own authority and say, I forgive, because forgiveness is power, forgiveness is warfare, forgiveness is how you break generational cycles. Forgiveness is how you refuse to pass on what was passed down. You're not weak for forgiving, you're not soft, you're not naive, you're brave, you're healed, you're wise, you've seen what unforgiveness does, and you've decided you're done with it. You've decided you're mental. You're walking out of the prison they tried to put you in, keys in your hand, head held high, and your heart finally free. There comes a point in every fight where you have to decide what's worth your energy, because not every attack requires a counterattack. Not every offense deserves a response. Not every insult needs a comeback. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do isn't to fight back, it's to rise higher. It's to look past the drama and into your destiny. It's to say, I could clap back, but I won't. I could stoop to their level, but I choose a higher one. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. That's the kind of strength the world can't explain. People will come at you, that's life. The higher you go, the more visible you become. And the more visible you become, the more opinions start flying. Some will misunderstand you, some will envy you, some will project their own insecurities onto you, and you'll be tempted to defend yourself. Health, your spiritual growth, and your emotional peace are too important to waste on bitterness. So you forgive not because they deserve it, but because you do. You deserve to be free. You deserve to laugh again without that weight on your chest. You deserve to love again without that wall around your heart. You deserve to dream again without that memory holding you back. So go ahead, let it go. Not for them, for you. Because forgiveness doesn't excuse them, it releases you. And today, prove your worth. Silence the noise. But let me ask you, What do you lose when you fight battles that were never yours to begin with? What do you delay when you trade elevation for retaliation? You don't need to respond to everything. Not every bite requires you to bark. You're not a prisoner to people's perception of you. Your purpose is too big to be reduced to petty arguments. And if the enemy can't destroy you, he'll distract you. He'll bait you with offense. He'll surround you with negativity. He'll get you so caught up in proving yourself that you forget who you are. That's why some of the greatest victories come not from fighting back, but from stepping up, from walking away with your peace intact, your dignity untouched, and your vision unclouded. There's power in restraint. It takes strength to hold your tongue. It takes courage to walk away. It takes trust to believe that God will vindicate you better than you ever could. When Jesus was insulted, he didn't hurl back insults. When he was mocked, he didn't mock them back. Why? Because he was on assignment. He wasn't there to prove a point. He was there to fulfill a purpose. And so are you. You weren't born to spend your days clapping back. You were born to rise, to influence, to shine, to lead. And you can't do that when you're caught in battles that drag you backward. I'm not saying you should be passive. I'm not saying you should let people walk all over. Someone tries to tear you down. Let your consistency be your defense. When someone tries to pull you into their chaos, stay grounded in your purpose. The people who are truly anointed don't need to fight loud battles. They win silently, they rise quietly, they keep building, they keep walking, they keep growing, and eventually their presence becomes their response, their life becomes their answer, their peace becomes their weapon. I'm saying, pick your battles. Know when to fight and when to fly. Because every fight costs you something, your time, your peace, your focus, and the more you grow, the more expensive your energy becomes. You can't afford to waste it on things that don't matter in the long run. Sometimes the best revenge is not revenge at all, it's peace. It's thriving, it's becoming everything they said you couldn't. When someone slanders your name, let your fruit speak for itself. When don't let them pull you out of character. Don't let them trick you into playing small just to prove a point. You've come too far to turn back now. The same God who brought you through before is the same God who will defend you now. You don't have to fight every enemy. Some battles are fought by keeping your eyes on the prize. Some fights are won by not fighting at all. You don't need to match their energy when yours is already on another level. Let them talk, let them lie, let them gossip. That's their level. You have a different one. You're not here for the applause or approval of people. You're here for something eternal, something divine. And if you spend your life reacting, you'll miss what you were created to build. Don't get caught up trying to convince people who never saw your value to begin with. Don't fight back. Rise higher, because when you rise above bitterness, you rise above insecurity, you rise above fear. You rise above the need for validation. And when you rise, you remind others that it's possible, that you don't have to be loud to be strong, that you don't have to be vengeful to be victorious, that you can carry both grace and grit, that you can be hurt and still holy, that you can be wronged and still rise. So next time they come for you, remember this: your greatest power is not your response, it's your rise. And when you rise, you confuse the enemy. When you rise, you disarm the offense. When you rise, you align with purpose. When you rise, you show the world that your identity isn't in the wounds, they're in the wisdom that came from them. Don't fight back. Rise higher. Your next level is waiting. You can't heal from something you keep reliving. You can't move forward when your mind keeps dragging you backward. And yet, how many of us are living stuck in a loop, mentally replaying the moment we got hurt, the conversation that crushed us, the betrayal that broke us? We don't want to go back there, but somehow we do. Not physically, but emotionally. In our heads, in our hearts, we hit rewind and then repeat again and again and again, and we wonder why we still feel like we're bleeding from wounds that happened years ago. It's because healing doesn't just happen with time, it happens with intentionality. And healing begins when you stop replaying what already happened. The mind is powerful. It remembers things in high definition. you're still frozen in fear. Not because you haven't tried to move on, but because your mind hasn't stopped playing the past like it's a highlight reel of failure. Let me say something to your heart. You are not what happened to you. You are not the pain you endured. You are not the mistake you made, the relationship that ended, the opportunity that fell apart. But if you keep replaying it, you start to relive it. And when you relive it, you reinforce the lie that it still defines you, especially pain, especially words that wounded, faces that disappointed, moments that shattered. And the enemy knows if he can keep you in replay mode, he can keep you from recovery mode. He knows if he can get you to relive the trauma over and over again, you'll stay stuck in a season that's long gone, but still loud. You might have walked out of the storm physically, but mentally you're still soaking wet. Emotionally, you're still standing in the rubble. Spiritually, that it still controls you, that you're still bound by something God already set you free from. And the longer you stay in that loop, the more you miss what's in front of you. You miss peace, you miss growth, you miss the new thing God is doing because your attention is fixed on what's already been done. Healing requires surrender. It requires you to say, yes, it hurt. Yes, it was unfair. Yes, I wish it never happened, but I'm not going to sit here and press play one more time. You've already cried enough tears over it. You've already had enough sleepless nights. You've already given it enough space in your story. Now it's time to break the cycle. And that doesn't mean pretending it didn't happen. It means choosing not to give it power anymore. It means saying, I'm not going to punish myself every day for something that's already over. It's time to protect your peace like it's sacred, because it is. It's time to stop giving your energy to ghosts from the past. The past is a place to learn from, not live in. And some of us have built entire emotional houses inside of moments we should have left behind. But the good news is you don't have to stay there. You don't have to keep feeding memories that only drain you. You don't have to keep rehearsing what God is trying to redeem. You don't have to stay on the mental treadmill of what if and why me. There is healing available, but it requires a shift in your thoughts. It requires you to stop pressing rewind and start pressing reset. And listen, healing doesn't always look like forgetting. Sometimes it means remembering without relapsing. It means you can acknowledge the pain, but you don't bleed from it anymore. You can talk about it without crying. You can think about it without spiraling. That's how you know you're healing, when the trigger doesn't control you anymore, when the name doesn't ruin your whole day, when the memory doesn't hijack your mind. That's possible, but only when you stop feeding the film reel in your head. The mind can be a battlefield or a sanctuary, and you get to decide which it becomes. You can fill it with fear, regret, revenge, or you can fill it with truth, grace, and perspective. You can meditate on what broke you, or you can meditate on the one who's building you back. And the beautiful part is, once you start taking back your thoughts, healing won't just be a concept, it'll become your reality. You'll walk lighter, you'll breathe deeper, you'll live freer, and you'll realize the healing wasn't about fixing the past, it was about fixing your focus. So today, choose to stop replaying. Choose peace, choose presence. Choose to believe that the future has more for you than the past ever did. Healing is waiting on the other side of your decision to stop carrying what you no longer need. You don't need to relive it to learn from it. You don't need to revisit it to prove you already did. And that's enough. Let go of the loop, let go of the lies, let go of the pain that's been on repeat for far too long. Because the moment you stop replaying the past is the moment you start rebuilding your future. And what's ahead of you is too important to be delayed by what's behind you. Healing is here, peace is here. But it begins when the replay ends. There are some things you never asked for, wounds you didn't deserve, seasons you didn't see coming, pain you couldn't pray away fast enough. And maybe you've wondered, why did God let that happen? What possible good could come from that moment, that breakup, that betrayal, that loss? It's a question that echoes in the quiet corners of your soul. And if you're not careful, you'll let the pain convince you that it was pointless. But here's the truth. God doesn't waste pain. What hurt you, God will use to help you. What tried to bury you, God will use to build you. And the place that I've cried in secret, It all goes into the hands of a God who knows how to turn pain into purpose. You might not see it yet. You might still be sitting in the ashes wondering what beauty could possibly come from this, but God is not finished. He's still writing, He's still working, He's still weaving what the enemy meant for evil into something that will shape you for good. Because God doesn't just heal the wound, He transforms it. He takes the same broke, you will become the platform He uses to bless you. It's not just a cliche, it's a promise that all things, not just the good, not just the easy, not just the prayers you felt like He answered, all things work together for good to those who love Him. That means the late nights where you cried alone, that means the job you lost, the person who walked out, the moment that changed your life and left a scar. It means every broken piece, every unanswered question, every tear thing that once made you feel weak and turns it into your greatest testimony. The thing you thought disqualified you, that becomes the very thing that qualifies you to help others walk through what nearly broke you. That heartbreak that took your breath away, it's producing compassion in you. That betrayal that shook your foundation, it's teaching you discernment. That season of loneliness where you thought God left you, it's revealing how to stand on His presence instead of people. Every tear has been doing more than just falling. It's been watering the soil of your next level. And when the harvest comes, you'll realize that you grew the most in the seasons that felt the most painful. We serve a God who doesn't throw people away when they're broken. He specializes in using them. He doesn't skip the scarred, the rejected, the doubting, the hurting. He chooses them. And not only does He choose them, He uses them. That's what grace does. Because He wanted you to see how He brings light out of darkness, how He brings strength out of struggle, how He brings purpose out of pain. The version of you that's coming out of this is stronger, wiser, more grounded, more anointed. You're not just surviving, you're being shaped, you're being refined. And when the time is right, God will use every ounce of it for your good and His glory. Don't rush the process, don't curse the pain, don't judge the story by the chapter you're... Grace takes what should have disqualified you and makes it the very reason you walk in power. It takes what others ran from and makes it the place God meets you. So don't despise what you went through. God is about to redeem it. You didn't go through that for nothing. It's going to help somebody. It's going to lift somebody. It's going to be the answer to someone else's prayer. Sometimes your pain becomes your platform, not because God wanted you to suffer, but currently in, because God already knows how it ends. He sees the part where your voice brings freedom to others. He sees the part where your testimony shatters chains. He sees the part where the enemy regrets ever coming for you in the first place. Right now, it might look like rubble, but God is rebuilding you, not back to what you were, but forward into who you were always meant to become. So hold your head high, not because you have all the answers, but because you know the one who does. Because you trust that nothing was wasted, not the silent nights, not the painful prayers, not the battles nobody saw. All of it is being gathered by God. All of it is being shaped into something useful. You don't have to understand it to believe it. You just have to trust that God is too wise to make mistakes and too faithful to leave you empty. You will see the day when what hurt you helps you. When the very thing that tried to destroy you becomes the door God uses to elevate you. It's not just survival, it's strategy. It's not just about healing, it's about helping. What hurt you will shape how you lead, how you love, how you show up in rooms, how you speak into hearts, and in that moment you'll finally understand it wasn't for nothing. God was using it all along, because He always does. You thought what they did to you would break you, but look at you still here, still breathing, still showing up. And if you're honest, even with all the cracks and scars, something in you got stronger. That's not by accident. That's the result of grace. That's what happens when you stop letting offense have the final word. You chose a better response. You took the pain and handed it to God instead of trying to get even. And because of that, you didn't just survive, you started to rise. See, the enemy wanted you to believe that the betrayal would define you, that the wound would become your identity. But God had something better in mind. He knew that if you gave it to Him, He could redeem it. He could turn that sting into strength, that disappointment into development, that heartbreak into a holy lesson. So don't you dare think that what happened to you was wasted. Every tear that fell, every night you cried, every word you didn't say back, they're all building something in you, something unshakable. You don't need to pretend it didn't hurt, it did. But now the pain doesn't have power over you. You've reclaimed that. You've taken the narrative out of the enemy's hands and given it back to God, and He's rewriting your story, not with revenge, but with redemption, not with bitterness, but with beauty. You're becoming the proof that healing is possible. That peace is possible. That wholeness after heartbreak is possible. That you don't have to carry what they put on you. You don't have to mirror the damage. You get to be different. You get to be free. And yes, there may still be days when the memory stings, but now you have a new response. Not anger, not silence, not shutting down. You respond with wisdom, with courage, with strength that comes from somewhere deeper than your emotions. You show the enemy that you may be wounded, but you're not weak. You may have cried, but you didn't quit. You may have bent, but you didn't break. That's what makes you dangerous in the best way. So don't let this moment pass without recognizing what God just did. He brought you through what others thought would finish you. He used what was meant for evil and flipped it into something that will bless others. Your story will speak for itself. The enemy that you may be wounded, but you're not weak. You may have cried, but you didn't quit. You may have bent, but you didn't break. That's what makes you dangerous in the best way. So don't let this moment pass without recognizing what God just did. He brought you through what others thought would finish you. He used what was meant for evil and flipped it into something that will bless others. Your story will speak for itself. You don't need to defend your name, chase their apology, or carry their behavior like it belongs to you. You let it go, and now you're free to grow. What you do from here matters more than what they did back there. This is your chance to write the rest of your story from a healed place, a holy place, a place where love wins. Not the soft kind of love that lets people walk all over you, but the powerful kind that refuses to be poisoned by pain. You're stepping into that kind of love now. The kind that chooses peace, even when chaos would feel more satisfying. The kind that protects your heart, not through walls, but through wisdom. Because here's the truth. God will handle what hurt you. He sees it, He knows, and He hasn't forgotten you. He's not just healing you, He's preparing you for more, for better, for deeper relationships, for clearer purpose, for peace that makes no sense except for Him. That's what's waiting on the other side of this pain. So keep walking, keep